You walked into your doctor's office, you got the diagnosis, low T, and you got the prescription. You thought that was the finish line, but really it's just the starting line. It's a starting line for a major metabolic shift in your body. Many doctors are great at writing the prescription and starting the process, but they often miss certain conversations about the trade-offs of testosterone replacement therapy. And I don't mean the financial costs, I mean the biological reality of what happens to your hair, your fertility, and your body's ability to make its own hormones the moment you stop. My name is Dr. Tara Nanella, and I help patients navigate these complex protocols and different health problems that they may be experiencing. To do this safely, we want to move beyond a simple prescription pad and look at specific biochemistry of what's actually going on in the body. It's not magic, it's mechanisms. So one of the more important things to grasp when you're going on TRT is that it's not a supplement, it's a replacement. When you take vitamin D, for instance, your body doesn't stop making vitamin D, but the moment you introduce exogenous testosterone into your body, whether it's a shot or topical or pill, your brain senses those higher levels and sends a stop command to your home production, causing it to slow down or shut down. In this case, you're essentially firing the factory workers and replacing them with imported goods. This happens quickly too, and while it can be reversible, keeping that factory dormant for years can have consequences, and in most cases, it's good to plan ahead for those consequences before you start. Navigating that shutdown and maintaining your health while on testosterone replacement therapy can be a little complex and confusing, and I cover the full protocol on how to best do this in my ebook, Mastering Your TRT. And for those struggling to optimize some of their symptoms, you could check out the app I made to help as well. And that should help fine-tune some of the symptoms or problems you might be having. The links are in the description below. So let's look at 3 of the biggest conversations that usually get skipped when you're going on testosterone replacement therapy for the first time. Number 1, as we alluded to, is the atrophy of your testicles and the reduction of the spermatozoa being produced. Your doctor may or may not have even mentioned the fact that fertility is something to consider. For younger men, especially, you want to be careful and considerate about this if you're planning on having children. And so let's look at the specific mechanism. So when you shut down the signal from your brain to your testes, that signal is luteinizing hormone and also follicle stimulating hormone. Your testicles tend to go into a retirement phase. They stop making sperm and they physically start to shrink. For most men, but certainly not all, the sperm count typically does go down to about 0. I would say up to about 90% of men that go on testosterone replacement therapy. Of course, it is dependent on dose and duration and things like that. And keep in mind too that it's not necessarily birth control. I've seen at least a few planned and some unplanned pregnancies in men on TRT. But if you want to have kids in the future, you don't want to just take a wait and see kind of attitude. And that's because trying to restart the factory after it's been shut down for 5 years or longer can be a lot harder than just keeping it running a little bit in the background while you're on the testosterone. So when you're on testosterone, because the testes are no longer working, because they don't have to produce testosterone, they're also not producing the spermatozoa, and it does tend to atrophy. This leads to, obviously, shrinkage, and sometimes there can be a dull aching pain in the testes as well. And this is why we often recommend taking HCG along with TRT for men that are planning on conceiving down the road. The HCG mimics the signal from the brain, mimics the FSH and a little bit the LH, keeping the testes online, keeping the testosterone and spermatozoa being produced, and this typically helps maintain the size as well, preserving your fertility options for the future. So that's what's happening in the downstairs area when you go on testosterone, but there are other trade-offs to consider with this as well that are often overlooked or not discussed thoroughly. And for some men, this one's more of a deal breaker than the first one, and that is hair loss. The question many men, or some men at least, want to ask, but maybe are a little reluctant to, is, will the testosterone make me go bald? And for this question, we have to not just look at the testosterone itself, but also the receptors where the testosterone binds. And specifically, we want to look at your genetic susceptibility in the androgen receptor density in your scalp. First, we want to understand some of the metabolites of testosterone. And one of those metabolites is DHT, and DHT is said to be somewhere around 5 times as potent as testosterone itself in terms of binding to the receptor site. So that means if you have more density of androgen receptors in your hair follicles or in your scalp, you have more available areas for that DHT to bind. Now, when DHT binds to the androgen receptors in the hair follicles, over time, it leads to miniaturization of those hair follicles. The follicle shrinks, the hair gets thinner and wispier until eventually it just stops growing altogether. And it does so in a very particular pattern, and that's called male pattern baldness. So in this case, testosterone replacement therapy is going to be an accelerator to that process. So if you have more of the genetics for hair loss, meaning you have a lot of androgen receptors, it'll be like putting the gas to the pedal to that process. It might happen for some people over 10 years, or it might happen over 7 years or 2 years. Just kind of depends what your susceptibility for that is. And so you need to understand at least the potential for this going into it, because once a hair follicle is fully miniaturized, it's very hard to reverse that process. So you want to consider, or at least think about, whether or not you want to be on some kind of blockers or just accept the fact that that's going to happen. So these are some of the physical changes that are likely to happen with testosterone replacement therapy, some more than others. Another thing to critically consider too is what happens when you want to stop testosterone. Is there a process, or is there something going to go on to your body that's going to make it harder to get off of? A lot of men going into the TRT clinics are thinking, well, at least I'll give it a try. And if I don't like it, then I can just stop. And oftentimes it's not that simple. Well, maybe if you do, just a couple shots, it might be. But when you stop injecting or applying exogenous testosterone, it's going to clear your body within a few days. Like, it will be out of your system for testosterone injections, probably in a week, definitely within 2 weeks. But the factory for producing that, the natural factory, which has been asleep or dormant for weeks or months or years, depending on how long you've been on it, doesn't just flip back on. It's not like a light switch. It takes time for that to wake back up. And this creates a lag time for bringing your old testosterone levels back online, meaning you might be low in testosterone, lower than when you started, for several weeks or several months. And it kind of depends on the person. Not everyone suffers as much as others during this lag time, but for many men, probably most men, this period is going to be a bit challenging. It does depend how long you've been on it and whether or not you've taken something to kind of help restart that factory. It also depends on the symptoms that drove you into therapy to begin with. If you had extreme depression or extreme fatigue or things like that, all those things are probably going to come rushing back, and they might even be a little bit worse, at least initially. So you want to consider this going into starting testosterone, and remember that can take many, many months to kind of get your normal levels back to where they were. So you need a proper exit strategy or protocol to bridge the gap so you don't crash and stay down there as long and spend months feeling terrible when you don't necessarily have to. The thing is, TRT is a very powerful, effective tool, but it's also a medical commitment. You need to protect your fertility while you're doing treatment. You want to assess your genetic risk for hair loss and respect the fact that your body's production may need help, or probably will need help coming back online if you decide you want to stop. These are some of the things that often get missed or overlooked in appointments with doctors prescribing TRT. So if you didn't get these details, hopefully that helps you bridge the gap in your understanding. Now, once you make the commitment to going on testosterone replacement therapy, the next challenge is making sure you don't overdo it. And how do you know if your dose is too high or just right? Which leads us into watching this next video right here, the top warning signs that your testosterone dose is wrong.